Okay, hello. Good evening. Hello, Kavi. There's only you currently, I guess. So hello. Good evening. This is June week 3. All right, the third week of June. So what are we going to learn today? It will be also quite an interesting lesson to learn. All right. So I hope you still remember last week, Kavi. Yeah, I hope you still do. We have learned what is this crossing diagram. Okay, I hope you still remember. So why is giving birth to a son or a daughter, a baby boy or a baby girl, why is it always 50-50? All right, remember how do you draw this thing? Okay, this is very important. Okay, very important. You'll be drawing this a lot. All right. I don't know whether you've done this in school. If your school teacher gives you exercise about this chapter, you'll be drawing this non-stop one. Okay, this 1 3 1 4 2 3 2 4 non-stop. You'll be drawing this. All right, so I did explain what is blood group also last week. What is your your sex determination? All right, so this week will be almost a same. Okay, hang on, someone is coming in. Okay, yes, Gabriel, hello, and oh, Jella, hello. Good evening, guys. All right, I was just going to start. All right, so we are in page 6 today. Okay, so last week's stuff, do not forget, because this week we'll be using the same diagram. This week we are drawing more crossing diagram. Okay, we are drawing more crossing diagram. So the one you learned last week, which is our Mendel's one, okay, what happened when you cross a big T, and a big small t, and then big small t and big small t, what happens? Big B and small b, what happens? XY and XX, what happens? All right, so let's talk about 5.3 today. What is mutation? All right, what is mutation? So mutation is a process that your cell change, that your gene change. All right, so it is a spontaneous and random change that take place in the gene or chromosome. All right, that means for some reason your gene and your chromosome they change by themselves. All right, means without your parents. Okay, you see what your parents give you, what your dad gives you, and what your mom gives you. Okay, and suddenly if they change for some reason, they just change by themselves. That is what we call mutation. All right, so this is spontan in DM. Spontaneous means anytime. It can happen anytime, and it can happen to anyone. All right, this is Rawa. That means any gene can change at any time. This is completely random and spontaneous. All right, so this is your mutation. I'm sure you have heard of this word in X-Men. If you watch Marvel, they say X-Men are those mutants. What is mutant? They have this mutation that caused them to have superpower. All right, and if you watch the Incredible Hulk, you know the Marvel superhero, okay, Incredible Hulk, he got mutation because he experimented himself with gamma ray. All right, so if you read the comic books or you watch the first movie, this guy called Bruce Banner, Dr. Bruce Banner, he bombarded himself with gamma ray. Yes, that very dangerous gamma ray you learned last year. Remember alpha, beta, and gamma? He bombarded himself with gamma ray, and suddenly his cell mutated. So he will turn green and big when he's angry. So that's just in comic books. Do you know what happened when you bombard yourself with gamma ray? You die. Okay, because gamma ray is a freaking dangerous radiation. Why the hell would you bombard yourself with gamma ray? But it's comics, guys. Don't take it so seriously, because it doesn't make any sense. All right, it's like Deadpool, he has a super regenerative power because he mutated. That's not gonna happen, guys. Okay, that's not gonna happen. You must sleep earlier today. Maybe you mutated into, I don't know, Wolverine or something. So that's not gonna happen. All right, so this will randomly change. All right, do you know cancer is a mutation? All right, cancer is a mutation. Why do people get cancer? Okay, funny, interesting lesson for us to learn. This is extra stuff, guys. Okay, yes, Kavi, cancer is a tumor. All right, do you know how do you grow a tumor? Why will you suddenly grow a tumor? Normal people don't grow tumor. But why do some cancer patients they grow tumor? Because you see, cells they are very smart. Okay, cells they are very smart. For example, my skin cell. All right, If let's say now I cut myself, I kill 6 skin cells, how many will they grow back? They will grow back 6. You see, your cells, they are very smart. They just somehow know how many cells died, so they will grow back how many to replace. All right, what if your cell suddenly changed? Your cell suddenly mutated, they refuse to listen to instruction anymore. That is how cancer happens. All right, when a cell suddenly they mutated, they lost the ability to control, they turn into a cancer cell. So now they won't stop growing. They won't stop dividing. So they divide, they form a tumor. So that is why cancer is a mutation. All right. So when you have mutation, you don't become an X-Man. You don't become a superhero. You don't gain supernatural ability, but you get cancer. All right. So don't watch too much movies. Don't watch too many movies. It makes no sense. Okay. Anyway, so you have 2 types of mutation here. You have 2 types of mutation. The first type, it's called chromosome mutation, mutasi chromosome. And then second, it's called gene mutation, mutasi gene. Okay, mutasi chromosome, mutasi gene. So what is this? What is this? As the name says, chromosome mutation is there's a mutation in the chromosome. Do you remember what is chromosome? Remember what is chromosome? Chromosome is this one thread, the whole thing. We have 46 chromosomes, right? So if any of them suddenly gone wrong, the whole thing gone wrong, that is what we call a chromosome mutation. All right. And if just one part goes wrong, that is called gene mutation. Right. Let me repeat this again. Okay, we have 46 chromosomes, right? If any one of them suddenly disappear, or if there's any extra one suddenly, that is what we call chromosome mutation. The whole thing gone wrong. Do you know, let me ask you, do you know how many genes is inside a chromosome? Do you know how many genes is inside a chromosome? Thousands. Thousands. That means if one chromosome is missing, you have a few thousand genes missing. And if you have one extra chromosome, you have a few thousand genes extra. Whereas if you have a gene mutation, only one gene go wrong. One gene. All right. So as you can guess, which is more serious? Okay. Do you know which is more serious? Which one will cause more disease? Of course, chromosome is more serious. All right, because it's one whole chromosome missing or one whole chromosome extra. Something is wrong with the whole chromosome. All right, you might say, so we have 46 one. One gone wrong, is it a big problem? Yes, it is. Very big problem. All right, and a gene mutation is just one gene gone wrong. This is much less serious. Okay, so I'll write it here. This is more serious. This is less serious. All right. Don't write this in exam. This is just to help you understand. Chromosome mutation is much more serious. Gene mutation is not so serious because it's just one gene going wrong. As you can see, as you still remember, one gene controls one characteristic. If you have one gene gone wrong, you only have one characteristic gone wrong. All right. Whereas chromosome have a few thousand genes. If a few thousand genes gone wrong, you will have a few thousand characteristics gone wrong. Can you see how serious they are? Chromosome mutation is very serious. All right, I will talk about this later. So what is this? So chromosome mutation occurs when there's a change in the number of chromosomes. You have one extra, you have one less. That's the change of the chromosome. So gene mutation is caused by chemical changes that occur to a gene. Something is wrong with one gene. One gene. All right, so that's a gene mutation. So what causes mutation? You might say, sir, why will mutation just happen? Right? It's just like me asking you, why will cancer happen? Why will cancer happen? There are a few factors. So, of course, let's look at the factors. All these factors that cause mutation, they also cause cancer. Because cancer is mutation, what? Okay, chemical change in gene. You don't need to know. You don't need to know what is chemical change. That means there's a change. There's a change in the gene. There's a change in your password. One gene gone wrong. One gene is wrong. Don't worry, Gavi. When I go into the example later, you will understand. All right. Now you are still blurred. Okay, sir, I know chromosome mutation is very serious, but what is it? I know gene mutation is less serious, but what is it? Okay, later. So you see, factors that affect that they will cause mutation, they will cause cancer too. Number one, natural. Some people naturally they get cancer, right? So some people naturally they get mutation. Same thing. All right. You know, last time when we were monkeys, when we were apes, a few million years ago, we all have black eyes. Okay, black pupil. So you see now the Mat Sallehs, the Kwai Los, the Western people, they have blue eyes, right? Blue eye is a mutation. You see, it's natural, but of course that thing is not harmful. It looks pretty, right? So that is natural. Mutation is natural. All right. But what else will cause mutation? Radioactive. All right. I'm sure you know radiation will cause cancer. All right. If you live near a nuclear power plant, that is not a good thing to do because you get radiation. So same here. X-ray, UV ray all these are radiation. I believe we learned this last year, right? In the nuclear chapter, these are ionizing radiation, the bad radiation. Remember the video I asked you to watch? I let you watch that video. You get radiation from the sun, you get it from cosmic ray, you get it from stones, you get it from everywhere. So those are radiation. They will cause cancer. They will also cause mutation. All right, and of course, carcinogen. What is carcinogen? Carcinogens are things that cause cancer, right? Cigarette smoke is carcinogen. So cigarette smoke will cause mutation. It's the same thing. And of course, pregnancy at late age, you might say, sir, getting pregnant late will cause mutation, or man? Yes, they will. I'll talk about this later. It's just like this, When you are old, you get cancer much more easier, isn't it? Okay, same thing. When you are old, when you get pregnant, your baby might get mutation. So it's the same as cancer. All right, so this is the same as cancer. I'm just going to put equal to cancer here. Now you understand. All right, now you understand. Okay, so next, let's move on. Let's look at chromosome mutation. Let's look at chromosome mutation. I don't know. Okay, so let's look at chromosome mutation. Sorry, guys, hang on. All right, sorry for that. My dogs are making some noise. All right, anyway, so let's look at chromosome mutation. As I said, this is the more serious one. This is the more serious one. Okay, so let's look at how serious they are. Okay, the first one, Down syndrome. Do you know what is this? Do you know what is Down syndrome? You know what is Down syndrome? Down syndrome is a very serious disease. Have you seen this before? Have you seen this before? This is Down syndrome. Okay, Down syndrome babies, they kind of look the same. Have you seen this before? Someone with Down syndrome, they look like this. They look like this. All right, so you might say, so what's wrong with them? All right, very easy. Down syndrome is when they have an extra chromosome at number 21. Can you see? Okay, we have 23 pairs of chromosome, right? We have 23 pairs of chromosome, right? Hang on. Okay, sorry for that. Okay, anyway, so chromosome mutation. Wait. Okay, Down syndrome. Okay, we have 23 pairs of chromosome, right? We have 23 pairs of chromosome, right? At the 21st pair, can you see there's one extra? Can you see that there's one extra? For some reason, they have one more extra here. So you might say, sir, one extra only what? What's the big deal? Big freaking deal, okay? Very big deal. So you see, they are forever physically and mentally retarded. Down syndrome people, they only have the ability of a 9-year-old. That's all. That's all. They are forever mentally retarded, and there's nothing you can do. And they have short neck, slanted eye, short stocky body. So they just look like that. So this is called Down syndrome. They have one extra chromosome at chromosome number 21. That means they have 47 chromosomes. They have one extra. They have one extra. Normal people have 46, right? They just somehow have 47. All right. So you might say, so what causes this? Like I said, late age pregnancy. Okay, late age pregnancy. If you get pregnant at above 40, guys, do you know you're not supposed to? if you get pregnant at above 40, let's say you are a woman, you are 40 something years old, if you want to get pregnant, doctor will say you can, but there's a certain risk to it. You will get this disease, your baby will get this disease higher chances than other people. All right, what if you really do? What if you really do? All right, so this is a question that I ask all the time. If you found out that your baby has Down syndrome, are you going for an abortion? Are you going for an abortion? It is very recommended that you do so. All right, very recommended that you do so. You might say, but sir, that is murder and whatnot. Do you want him to come to this world? Hey, yes, that's unfortunate, yes. But there's no choice. You have to. Okay. Hey, guys, Down syndrome people the longest age they will live is only 30 something. The oldest age Down syndrome person has ever lived is 30 something. And throughout their life, okay, first of all, you have to take care of them for that 30 something years. Okay. And not only that, they get sick very easily because everything about them is wrong. They have one extra chromosome, which makes them has a lot of, sometimes they will get breathing difficulty, heart defects, digestive problems, hormone problems. Everything about them is wrong. All right. So would you want to be so selfish and give birth to them just because you love that baby or you don't believe in abortion? You want them to come out and suffer? Right? It's like let's say you have a twins, you have a pair of twins in your stomach, and they are conjoined. They share the same brain. Do you still want to die, give birth to them? I'm sorry, if you do, if you're a very selfish person. Yes, I know, religion is religion. But religion is just a guide for you to live your life. You don't have to die, listen to it. All right? Some religions say you need human sacrifice. Do you listen to it? No. Just don't be stupid. Use your own personal discretion. Like seriously, how would you give birth to someone who is Down syndrome? I don't think it makes any sense. All right. And do you know this? Our society is a very cruel place. Do you know I think it was a few months ago, there was a special needs school in Malaysia. They got exposed because they tortured Down syndrome kids. Right? Like I said, this world is freaking terrible. Okay, in Malaysia, there is this I forgot what's the name. There is a very famous school for disabled people to go to. And most parents, they will send their Down syndrome kids there. And it turns out, a few months ago, they got exposed. It was a very big scandal. Most of the worker inside there, they tortured the shit out of those Down syndrome kids. You see? Would you want the same thing to happen to your kid? No. So please go for an abortion. Like I said, I'm going to say it here. Yes, I might get a lot of hate from this. I don't care. Go for an abortion. I asked my friend the same thing. He's a doctor. I said, hey, if your patient has Down syndrome, the kid has Down syndrome, what will you do? My friend, without thinking, he said, go for abortion. Please don't be stupid. Like seriously, do you want to visit hospital monthly with your kid every month until they die? No, that's a freaking stupid thing to do. All right, so as you can see, chromosome mutation, they are no freaking joke. This is pretty damn serious. Okay, let's look at the next one. So they are one thing worse than the other. So next is Turner syndrome. Okay, Turner syndrome. Turner syndrome is when this girl, girl has XX chromosome, right? If you still remember. So this girl, a girl with Turner syndrome, she has one X missing. She has one X missing. One whole freaking chromosome missing again. Like just now is one extra. Now is one missing. So this girl, so she's same thing, mentally retarded. And then she won't go through puberty. All these puberty symptoms she won't go through. She has no ovary, small breast, okay, do not have menstrual cycle. They just look, I'm sorry to say, but they just look weird. Okay, this is Turner syndrome. Okay, Turner syndrome. Something looks very off with them. They look very wrong. They Turner syndrome. Okay, a girl with Turner syndrome, you see, they will look like this. Okay, they will look like this. As you can see, they are short and they will not get any female They will not get any female characteristic. Okay, there's no breast tissue development, nothing. They just look like a, there. You see, Turner syndrome. They look like this. So do you want your kid to look like this? I'm sorry, this is something that you cannot choose. something that you cannot control. If it happens, then it happens. Okay, tough luck. All right, so this is your Turner syndrome. That means they are XO. Instead of having 46 chromosomes, now they have 45. One is missing. And then the next one, Klinefelter. This is no better also. This is when the guy has one X extra. Usually it's one X missing. Now it's one X extra. You see, now the guy has XXY. So Klinefelter is the same thing. He's also mentally retarded. Now he also has no puberty symptom. So Klinefelter guys, they are guys, because they are XY, but they're XXY. So Klinefelter guys, they look like this. They look like this. Can you see they kind of look like females? They have no manly characteristic. Okay, when guys, when you go through puberty, your shoulder will broaden, right? You will produce testosterone, the male sex hormone. You will become manly. You will start to have deep voice. Okay, you start to grow facial hair. You start to have broad shoulders. You see, this doesn't happen to them. Okay, don't you think they kind of look like girls? Okay, they have very narrow shoulders. They don't have that manly characteristic. They might even grow breasts. So you see, everything is wrong. Okay, everything is wrong about them. So this is why I said chromosome mutation is a very serious matter. Right? There's nothing you can do. There's nothing you can do. All right. So this is called Klinefelter. The quick way to memorize this, Turner is the shorter one. You see, XO is shorter, right? XO is missing, right? So only X chromosome here. So we call it Turner. XXY is longer, right? Longer, right? So the name is also longer, Klinefelter. So this part is very easy to understand, very easy to memorize. They will come out in exam definitely. Okay, so Down syndrome is when they have one more extra at the 21st. Turner is when they have one X missing. A girl with one X missing. Klinefelter is a guy with one X extra. That's your chromosomal mutation. Okay, chromosome mutation. You might say, sir, there's only these three, man. Of course, there are thousands of diseases when it comes to chromosome mutation. These are just the three most common ones. All right. So anyway, let's look at gene mutation. Let's look at the less serious one. Okay, the less serious one. So like I said, gene mutation is when one gene gone wrong. They are still normal, but they have one characteristic wrong. For example, let's look at the first one. Do you know it's color blindness? Do you know it's color blindness? Okay, guys, please don't be ignorant. Someone with color blindness doesn't mean they see everything in black and white. Just don't say something like this. This is very ignorant. It's like me. Okay, it's like me. I get really annoyed when people ask me, hey, you have short-sightedness. I say, yeah. And then they will ask me, how serious is your short-sightedness? Oh, you are colorblind. Oh, wow, really? That means you cannot see red and green, right? That means green and red, you cannot tell the difference, right? Wow, interesting. Hey, you're the first I've met though. I mean, someone that's kind of okay. How serious is your color blindness, by the way? That means okay. Let me show you something. The color blind test. Wow, then you're gonna have a hard time taking the driver's license because the first 10 question of a driver license is gonna be your yellow and orange heart. Oh, okay. So can you see this? Can you see this is 74? If it is, then it is a mild color blindness. Okay. Yes, Kavi, I believe you can because I don't think you have color blindness. So Gabriel, can you see this? Can you see this? Can you see this 74? If you cannot, then that means you have very typical color blindness. No, this is 71, 74. Okay, maybe it's a bit hard for you to tell. Okay, maybe what about let me find a better picture. Can you see this is there? This one, 74. Can you see this 74? Maybe it's a bit hard on your end lah. So if you have a little bit of okay. Wow, that's interesting. Wow, okay. Wow. Oh, you okay, that's very interesting. We can make it a case study later. All right. Anyway, so guys, like I said, if you have color blindness, if someone has color blindness, that means red and green they will mix up. Have you been to an optician before? If you have gotten your specs made before, when you walk into the optician's room, they will switch on the board in front of you, and then it's red and green, right? That is to test whether you have color blindness. All right. Like I said, just because someone is colorblind doesn't mean they see something in black and white. Please don't be ignorant. Like I said, People love asking me, you have short-sightedness, right? How serious are you? I will say, oh, my left eye is 400 something, my right eye is 500 something. And then they will do something very stupid. Hey, take off your spec. How many fingers are these? Hello, I can still see your fingers, okay? I'm not blind. I can still see 5 fingers. It's just that they are very blurry. So please don't be stupid, okay? So just because someone is black and white, just because they are colorblind doesn't mean they see things in black and white. Okay, so don't ask stupid questions like this. Hey, I have a friend who's a psychologist. He get this question all the time. Hey, you're a psychologist, right? Can you guess what I'm thinking? Hello, psychologist is to study how people think, not what they think. He's not a psychic. Okay, so don't be ignorant. Don't ask stupid questions like this, please. So if someone has color blindness, don't think that you're very cute. Oh, that means you see everything black and white. Not funny. Okay, so just they cannot differentiate red and green. Okay, so just now the color blind test I showed you, you will be okay. Do you know you can do your undang test this year already? That means okay, next year 17 when you have your 17th birthday, you are allowed to go for a driver's test already. All right, 17 is our legal age to drive. So before you go for a driver's test, a driver's lesson, you need to take the undang test. 50 questions. You need to get 42 correct. Only you can pass. You pass your undang test, the undang jalan raya. You pass that test, only you can go for a driver's test. All right. So the first 10 questions, you will be answering things. You will be answering this question. You'll be answering this question. There are 10 questions about your colorblindness. If you get any of these wrong, of course, it's very obvious one. Okay, like this is obviously a 6. If you get this thing wrong, it might be a little bit of trouble because they might require you to go to a doctor to get a letter of approval showing that you do not have any colorblind. Only you are allowed to continue. Or in Malaysia, there is always duit kopi. You know what I mean? You know what is duit kopi? My mother got her license this way. Okay, because my mom, she is not educated. She cannot even read a word of Bahasa Melayu. So you wonder how did she get her license? Everything is duit kopi one. Okay, her license is from bribery. Okay, this is why Malaysia, our road is not very safe. Okay, our road is not very safe because it's very easy to get a driver's license in Malaysia. Okay, so you have all these people do not even know how to drive. They are on the road already. Yes, it is possible, Kavi. In Malaysia, if you have the money, anything is possible, right? Right? Hey, you with 200,000, you can get yourself a dato ship, leh. Okay, you don't. To be a dato in Malaysia, you need to contribute to the society. Okay, that or either you just give 200,000 to one of the sultan, they will lante you as the dato lah, and then on your car plate you can put the dato plate there. I'm a dato now. You see? Yes, Selangor dato is hard. Yes. Oh, Jalan. Wow, that's very good. If you can get dato ship from Selangor or Perak, that means you really have the ability to do so. You cannot buy Selangor dato one. Because Selangor Sultan, they don't need your freaking money. Selangor Sultan is rich enough. Okay? But you know what state can? Most likely, you can buy dato ship from Pahang. Because Pahang is a very poor state. Okay? The Sultan really needs money. So as long as you have 200,000 to 300,000, you can get a dato ship there. All right? So next time, you check the dato. If you see some dato car, you go and check their board there. You go and check the plate there. If it says Pahang, then you can say, this is dato cheap one, buy one. Okay, buy one. Hey, Pahang is a very shitty state. You know that. I'm not trying to put down Pahang, but it is. All right. That state is they always run out of money. All right. The people there, they are stupid as hell. Right? How can they not be stupid? They lante Najib as the prime minister, you know. Okay, Najib is from Pahang. How do you think he cheat the people there to vote for him? Because they're stupid enough to be controlled. I know this is a very a cold hard truth. All right, so Johor, I'm not sure lah, but usually it's Pahang. Usually it's Pahang. Those fake datos though they are mostly from Pahang for a reason. Okay, so anyway, wow, I'm gonna get myself into trouble, isn't it? If you send this clip to police, I'll be in jail tomorrow. Yikes. Okay, Johor Rich, I don't know lah. Johor is just like the crybaby lah. Johor Royals, they are the crybaby, especially the TMJ. He's a freaking crybaby. Anything he will make noise on. Same goes to the daddy lah. Hey, Johor Sultan, they had their scandals on, I'll tell you that next time. Okay. The grandfather of this TMJ, he actually killed someone, and he didn't go to jail because he's the Sultan. Big scandal, okay? I'm not going to go into that. All right. Anyway, so let's look at color blindness. Okay, color blindness. Can you see this is sex-linked disease? I want you to take note of this sex-linked disease. Sex-linked means they are tied to the X chromosome. Guys, sex-linked disease is not sexually transmitted disease. Not. Sexually transmitted disease is when you F someone without a condom and you get something nasty on your genital. That is a sexually transmitted disease. That is different. Sex-linked disease is when you carry that gene in your X chromosome. Very, very different. Okay. Anyway, so this is when you get a recessive gene. Okay, I'll talk about this later. All right. So let's talk about anemia. Guys, do you know what is anemia? Anemia is when you don't have enough red blood cell. So there are two types of anemia. Oh wow, Kavi, how do you know this? Have you learned this in school already? So this is called sickle cell anemia. Okay, this is called anemia cell subit. All right, as you can see, sickle cell anemia is when your red blood cell kind of look like a sickle. Okay. Oh, I thought you on Gen. Oh, did I? Wow, Kavi, you have very good memory. Even I forgot already. Sorry, goldfish brain. All right. Anyway, so sickle cell is when your cell look like this. Okay. So as you know, red blood cell is to carry oxygen. And when your red blood cell look like this, it's not gonna be good in carrying oxygen. So you get very tired really easily. Oh, wow, Kavi, I'm flattered. Oh, I'm so touched. Okay. Anyway, so thalassemia is when your red blood cell kind of look like a retarded shape. All right. So both of these are anemia. Fun fact, my mom actually has a little bit of thalassemia, just a little bit. That means she's still normal. She's still normal. It's just that when she push herself to exercise, she will get very breathless because she don't get enough oxygen. She has a very slight thalassemia. Do I have it? I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe not. I don't know because I've done a few blood tests. So far the doctor hasn't said anything lah. So I guess I'm normal. I don't know. So this is what happens when you get sickle cell and thalassemia. All right. When your anemia is very serious, you need to go for blood transfusion every 3 months. You need to go to the hospital. They will change the blood for you. You need to get donated blood. Someone needs to donate blood to you every 3 months. You see, if you have serious sickle cell anemia and thalassemia, that's a huge pain in the ass. So if you are normal, praise the Lord, okay? Guys, if you are born without any defects, that's good enough. All right. So don't complain to me, sir, why my friends are born with better genetics in their brain. Why are they smarter than me? As long as you are normal, that is good enough. Okay. So, I mean, it's like looking at the glass half full instead of half empty. All right. Wow, I should be a motivational speaker. All right. Anyway, so moving on. What is hemophilia? Hemophilia is when your blood cannot clot. This is also a huge problem. I mean, not as serious as your chromosomal mutation, but hemophilia is when someone, they cannot stop bleeding. All right. So let me ask you, if you accidentally cut yourself, let's say you get a paper cut. All right. So how long does it take to stop bleeding? Around 5 minutes, right? I don't know about you guys, but when you start to bleed, I mean, as long as it's not very serious, your bleeding will stop at around 5 minutes-ish. That means after a few minutes, the bleeding just kind of stops. All right. But for people with hemophilia, they are very serious because even after like 5 hours, their wound will still be bleeding. Not even a joke. All right. So hemophilia is very serious, especially if you are trying to give birth. All right, or you try to go for any surgery. So if you have hemophilia, make sure you let your doctors know, because you might just die because of excessive bleeding. Okay, and fortunately, okay, guys, let me just tell you this. Hemophilia, for some reason, this is sex-linked also, they are carrying X chromosome. For some reason, they don't really happen in Asians. Not to say not lah, but it's very rare in Asians. All right, I'm not being racist here, guys, but certain genes they only exist in certain races. All right, for example, why are Western people very good in drinking? When you want to drink with them, let's say you have a friend from Western countries lah, you try to fight with them in drinking, in terms of drinking alcohol, you will be dead. Asians, we suck at drinking. Do you know why? Because somehow, for some reason, our body cannot produce that enzyme to digest alcohol. You're just born with it. There's no way to control. But Western people, they're just somehow, most of them, I'm not saying all, but most of them, they are born with very good abilities to break down alcohol. That's why they can drink, right? You try and drink with a German, you see, they can drink like one whole freaking tower of beer. They just stand straight one. Whereas you might collapse already. Okay, this is genetics. So hemophilia, we don't really get this in Asians. Okay, very, very rare. All right, next, albinism. Albinism is when your body cannot produce melanin. What is melanin? Melanin is the dark pigment in your skin and your hair. Why is your skin dark? Why is your hair dark? It's because of this melanin. People with albinism, they cannot produce this. That's why they look very pale. Albinism, they look like this. All right, and you know what's the interesting thing? They also happen in animals. Okay, let's look at albino animals. It happens in animals too. Okay, and it looks kind of cool. Okay, it looks kind of cool because you see, it happens in lions. It happens in giraffe. You see, they cannot produce that melanin also. So cool, right? So cool, right? And in peacocks, you have something called half albino. Wow, look at this. Isn't this cool? So cool. It's half albino and half not albino. Wow. You see, this is nature. Not just because they are mutation, doesn't mean they're bad. Sometimes mutation could be pretty too. You see, that's the thing about nature. Wow, awesome, am I right? All right, anyway, so let's move on. Let's look at this gene disorder disease. Okay, here we go. Here we draw this diagram again. All right, remember I told you this thing called sex-linked disease. Remember this thing called sex-linked disease? They are carried in your X chromosome. Okay, what do I mean? Let's look at hemophilia. Let's take an example of hemophilia. We use the alphabet H. Okay, we use the alphabet H. That means you have two types of hemophilia gene. You have X big H and X small h. This is dominant. This is recessive. And for some reason, Y is just Y. There is no YH or YH. No, because like I said, sex-linked disease, they are only carried in the X chromosome. Now, why no Y? That's the reason. For some reason, they are only in the X chromosome. Okay, so if you're dominant, means you are normal. If you have the recessive gene, means you are hemophilia. You have hemophilia. Okay, this is where it gets interesting. This is where it gets interesting. So let's talk about males. Let's talk about males. Male is forever XY, isn't it? Male is forever XY, isn't it? So there are only two types of combination here. If you are X big HY, dominant, right? Dominant, right? That means you are normal, right? That means you are a normal male. You are a normal male. And if you are X small HY, you are recessive. You see, you have the losing gene. That means you have the disease. In this case, you have hemophilia. All right, you have hemophilia. So males are more simple. It's either you have it or you don't have it. You have dominant, you don't have it. You have recessive, you have it. All right, but females they're slightly more complicated. You see, females are XX, right? XX, right? In this case, you have three combinations. You can either be X big H, X big H, or X small h, or X big H, X small h. Okay, there's 3 combination now. So let's look at the first one. If you are X big H, X big H, you are a normal female, just like a normal male. Okay, just like a normal male. And if you have X small h, you are just like this male here, you have the disease. All right, because two losing what? There's no winning gene here. And if this is the case, this is where it gets tricky. If you have X big H and X small h, that means you are still normal because this gene will cover this gene. It's just like big T, small t, right? You have a short gene, but this tall gene will cover this small gene, this short gene, you will still be tall, right? In this case, it's the same thing. This big gene, this dominant gene, will cover this recessive gene. You will still be normal, but in this case, you are called a carrier. What does it mean? That means you are normal, you don't have hemophilia, but you are carrying this gene. And you might give it to your child. You see, you are normal, your child might have the disease. You have a hidden gene there. It's just like this T here. You have a hidden short gene. You are tall, but your child might be short. So you're like a carrier of the disease. It's like I carry COVID, but I don't have the symptom. I'm a carrier. Okay, I don't have the COVID, but I might pass it to someone. So that's called a carrier. So let's look at this case. You see, if this is hemophilia, right? This is hemophilia, right? So in color blindness, it's the same thing. In color blindness, it's the same thing. So if you are X big C small y, that means you're normal male. X small cy, that means you have color blindness. Female, same thing. X big C, you are normal. X small c, you are colorblind. And X big C, X small c, you are a carrier. You don't have colorblind, but you might give color blindness to your child. Wow. See, interesting, isn't it? All right, so let's look at some examples here. Okay, so they will ask this in exam. So for example, if a normal father, they will not give you this diagram. This diagram at the bottom, they will not give you. They will just ask you, if a normal father marries a carrier mother, what's the percentage of the child having hemophilia, for example? So normal father is for sure X big H1 because normal what? You don't have the disease what? So X small hy lah. So when your dad does meiosis, half of the sperm will be X big H and half of it will be Y. You see, same as last week. And then if your mom is a carrier, that means she's for sure big H small h. You see, carrier. She might not have she don't have the disease, but she has the gene. She might give it to you. So half her ovum will be X big H, half her ovum will be X small h. And then let's do the crossing and see. So 1, 3, 1, 4, 2, 3, 2, 4. First possibility, she will have a normal daughter. They will both have a normal daughter. That means big H, big H. And they might have big, small h. The daughter might be a carrier. So in this case, if this couple, if they are having a daughter, they don't need to worry because both daughters will be normal. It's just that maybe the daughter might be a carrier. And if they have a son, this is where the problem comes. If they have a son, the son might be X big HY. That means he is normal because big H1. And if you look at the last possibility, he might be a X small hy. He might have hemophilia. That means if this couple they are having a son, 50% he will be normal, 50% he will have hemophilia. Can you see why is she called a carrier now? Because she's normal, but she carried the gene to her son, and now her son has hemophilia. So this is why she is called a carrier. She carries the disease. Right? Makes sense, right? All right, so let's look at one more case. If a normal father marries a hemophilia mother, hemophilia means small h for sure. And then normal means big H. So what happens? So 1, 3, 1, 4, 2, 3, 2, 4, same thing. So the first daughter, big small h, she's a carrier. Second daughter, big small h, carrier. That means if this couple, they decide to have a daughter, now if they have a daughter, 100% they will be carrier. For sure they will be a carrier, but they are still normal lah. But now the son, okay, you see the son, small h, both son will have hemophilia. For sure, 100% she will have hemophilia. All right. So just now, who was it again? Gabriel. Okay, Gabriel, you can go home and draw this and see how. Because you say your mom carries the gene from your granddad, right? So you can try this and see. Maybe your mom is normal. Okay, your mom might be a carrier, and she gave this to you. So it's the case like this lah. It's the case like this. Your mom is a carrier of color blindness, and then now you are this. You have the color blindness. You see, she gave you the recessive gene, and your dad gives you, of course, she gives you Y lah, because you're a male, right? So you are colorblind lah. So you see, this explains, right? Your mom is a carrier. She carries that color blindness gene from your granddad, and then now she gave it to you. Okay, interesting stuff, Interesting stuff, That's why I say this chapter is never boring. This chapter is never boring. This is like my favorite chapter to teach. So your school teacher might say otherwise lah, because for them this is like rocket science to them. If they might not even understand this themselves, so what makes you think that they can make you understand, right? Okay, so what is amniocentesis? Right, so how do you find out that your son, okay, let's say now your kid in your pregnancy, how do you know they have Down syndrome? Oh, you want to learn biology because of this chapter, but biology is a pain in the ass, isn't it? Right? Anyway, so this is what happens. This is how you find out whether your child has Down syndrome. When you are pregnant at around 10 to 12 weeks, you can actually go for a test called amniocentesis. They will draw the fluid. This thing is called the amniotic fluid, remember? They will draw this fluid out from your womb. And as you can see, it's a pretty big ass needle. All right, very, very painful. So they will draw this thing out, and they will go and do the karyotype. They will do the karyotype. They will spread everything out to see whether your child is normal. Okay, to see whether your child is normal. Especially if you're a high age pregnancy, if you're above 40 and you decide to get pregnant, this is a must-do test. In fact, no matter what age you get pregnant now, you will still do this test because it's just like a safe measure. What if your child has Down syndrome? Go and test lah. I mean, this doesn't cost a lot of money. It's just like it gives you a peace of mind. All right, but they can't catch all diseases lah. They can't catch all diseases. They might catch some, maybe Down syndrome, maybe Turner, maybe Klinefelter, but some diseases you can't catch it. You can't detect this early. For example, guys, you know what is autism? You know what is autism? Do you know autism is born? Might be. There is still no known cause of autism. What causes autism? Nobody knows. All right, but it might be genetic. Can women have babies in the 30s? Yes, you can, but it has higher risk. I mean, if you are 49 this year, you say, screw it, I'm going to have a baby. Who's going to stop you, right? But you have higher risk of having a not healthy baby. All right, but guys, I know this sounds crazy. You know what's the optimal age to have baby? The most healthy age to have baby? According to science, the healthiest age to have a baby for girls, I mean for guys, doesn't matter. For girls, is from 23 to 26. All right, from 23 to 26. You might say, sir, that is freaking crazy, sir. So young. That's like what? That's like your grandma's era already. I mean, your grandma had your mom or your dad at around that age too. Yeah, so early, isn't it? You are still in your university. Sir, 23, I'm still having my degree. Yeah, that's why. Okay, so that's crazy talk. I mean, who the hell is having their kid at 26? I mean, I have a few friends who is like that, but unless you're freaking rich, unless you're like a footballer or something, you earn millions of dollars every year, then that is kind of impossible, isn't it? Okay, or just don't give birth at all. There's always that choice, you see. All right. So anyway, this is for your future planning already lah. That's not my matter already. I'm just letting you know, guys. Okay. I know 23 to 26 is gila lah. Okay. Hey, who knows you meet like Cardi B? Cardi B. That's not a very good example, isn't it? All right. So, hey, who knows? You meet the love of your life at 21, and then you get married at 22. You have your first child at 23. Life will throw you curveballs like that. You see? So who knows? Who knows? I mean, that's really crazy lah. But who knows? Okay. Anyway, let's look at our exercise. Okay, have we done question 9 last week? Your parents will kill you. It will be a different story if your husband is like a multi-millionaire. Right? You get married at 21, at 21, and then your husband is like a the son of a multinational corporate. He's the son of maybe Google or something. Hey, then your parents will be wow, more than welcome. You see, our parents, Asian parents are very realistic one. Okay, you try and tell your parents, Ma, I'm pregnant. And then your mom will say, "Oh my God, who does this? I'm gonna kill the person." But Ma, the person is the CEO of some company. And then your mom will say, "Maybe I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's try and talk this out." You see, very realistic one. Different story now, isn't it? Okay, you go and tell her and see, oh, the person who made me pregnant, he drives a Ferrari. Wow, you see, different story now. Okay, I hate to be so realistic, so materialistic lah, but that's how the world works. You see. Anyway, let's go to our question 9. I don't think we have done this, isn't it? So this is last week's stuff. Okay, so complete the diagram by filling the genotype of the first generation. So they will be all big small t, big small t, big small t, and big small t. Hey, you see, like this you get 2 marks. Right, praise the Lord. This is easy. This chapter is really easy. All right, so name the process. What is X? X is meiosis. Okay, meiosis, because you split your cell, you split your gene into 2, right? You have 2 sets, right? You are only giving your child 1 set. That process is called meiosis. So what is Y? Y is when your sperm meets with your ovum. That is called fertilization. This is in Form 1 actually. Persenyawaan. Okay, persenyawaan. In BM, this thing is also called meiosis. So what is the phenotype? Remember what is phenotype? Phenotype is what you see. So big small t is for sure tall. Phenotype. And then what is the genotype? Genotype is big small t. Remember, genotype is the gene. Phenotype is what you see. I mentioned this last week also. I think around. Oh shit, I erased it. It's okay. It's okay. So genotype is what you see. It's the gene. Phenotype is what you see. And then what is the percentage of probability that a new plant will be tall? So what's the percentage of tall? 100%. See, all tall. All the first generation will be tall. You see, this is what we did last week. And then D, I hope I'm not going too fast because we're running out of time. So if the plant produced in the first generation are crossed among themselves, that means first cross with first. That means big small t crossing with big small t. Guys, just a heads up. You'll be drawing this a lot in exam. A lot, like seriously a lot, because you'll be doing this trial and error style. So first child, big t tall, second child, big small t tall, third child, big small t tall, fourth child, small t short. So 3 tall and 1 short. So what is the ratio? The ratio is 3 to 1, right? 3 tall and 1 short. And then if the plant produced in the first generation is big small t, right? Is crossed with a dwarf plant. Dwarf means short. Short is for sure big, small t, right? 2 recessive one, 2 short one. Then only they can be short lah. So what is the ratio to tall to dwarf? So you draw this again, lor. So big small t and small t. So first child, big small, second child, big small, third child, small, Fourth child, small spot. So what's the ratio of tall to short? 2 tall and 2 short, right? So that's 1 to 1. Especially if this thing is coming out in objective, you have A, B, C, D, you have to do A, B, C like this. You have to try them one by one. And you might say, sir, then that will be wasting a lot of time, isn't it? Trust me, if you do this exercise long enough, you will roughly know what's the child gonna come out like. I mean, without even doing this, you can roughly tell what's the percentage already. That's why I say this chapter you need more practice. Okay, so what is gene? This one no need lah. I've mentioned this in the first lesson already. All right, so I'm gonna skip ahead. So question 10, you can go home and do it yourself. Practice this yourself. It's the same question. All right, so next, let's go to our question 11. I'm gonna skip question A. What is sex chromosome? That will be your X and Y chromosome. So your father has 44XY. So half of his sperm will be 22X. What about the other half? The other half will be 22Y, right? Like I said, whether you're a male or a female is decided by your dad, not your mom, because your dad has X and Y. So A is 22Y, whereas your mom, she has 44XX. All her ovum will be 22X and 22X. She only has X. She has no Y. All right, so state the sex of Q. So what is Q? Q is 22X plus 22X. So X and X, it is a female. Give your reason, because she has XX chromosome. So what about S? S is 22Y plus 22X. So this fellow is XY. So this person is a male. Reason, because he has XY chromosome. Easy peasy, isn't it? Hey, let me tell you, this chapter, when they come up with this crossing diagram, wow, praise the Lord. Because it's the same question over and over again. Okay, because there's only one way they can ask this. It's always the same answer. I mean, it's always those answers. All right, so do all the children produce, you know what, I'm gonna skip this. I'm gonna skip this. So what's the probability? 50-50 lah. All right, so let's look at mutation. Let's do one more question. What is mutation? It is a spontaneous and random change to a gene or chromosome. Okay, perubahan spontan dan rawat kepada gene dan kromosom. So 3 factors is the same as cancer: UV ray, X-ray, carcinogen, natural. Okay, so 2 types of mutation. You have your chromosome mutation, which is the serious one, and gene mutation, which is a less serious one. So what is the serious one? That will be your Down syndrome, Turner syndrome, Klinefelter syndrome, and gene mutation, of course, you have your colorblind. Okay, hemophilia, thalassemia, sickle cell anemia, albinism. So the less serious one. Right? They're still normal. Even though you have color blindness, you are still normal. You're not mentally retarded. All your other characteristics are still normal. It's just that one characteristic is wrong. Okay, one characteristic is wrong, which is your color characteristic. All right, so you know what? I think I'm going to stop here. Okay, too many stories to tell you today. This is a very fun lesson, isn't it? All right, so next week I will focus more on exercise before I move on, because this part is rather important. So I will try to spend more time doing this exercise with you next week. All right, so I think I'm going to stop here. I hope you learned something new today. All right, interesting lesson, isn't it? Okay, so have a happy Wednesday to you all. I will see you guys the same time next week. All right, so see you. Take care and bye-bye.